Good morning, Judy.
Hey, Susan.
How are you doing today?
Doing great. Doing great. Ready for Halloween and things coming up?
Yeah, well, I guess so. There's a lot of people out there all decorated up, aren't there?
Yep.
We have a market report for our viewers today for September 2024. Today is October 30th, so we're a little delayed in giving you this information, but let's just go for it here, Judy, and we'll talk about what happened with the storms, how the storms affected our sales, and how our area is doing. We see some key trends in the area that are more so reflected in our numbers, but let's go for that initially.
Okay.
We see a decreased sales volume across all property types in both counties. Closed sales saw a double-digit percentage drop, indicating a slowdown of market activity in all but one statistic. Our price adjustments show that median sales prices have declined in most sectors, reflecting a slight cooling in the market demand. We've seen an inventory level rise that's been significant year over year, which means that we're getting into a more balanced market. And we're there with one of the statistics that we'll talk about. And what we're hearing from our president of our Realtor Association.
So I've got the quote here. Our local housing market has faced some unique challenges this past month, and Hurricane Debbie's flooding certainly played a role in that. The storm not only disrupted the daily lives of our residents, but it also impacted buyer confidence and delayed many transactions. We're seeing the efforts of that in slower sales and as the community recovers. This is quoted by Tony Barrett, the 2024 president of the Realtor Association of Sarasota and Manatee. He also added that we should see similar trends in October as well. For those that aren't super up on things, because you may be across the country or somewhere else, a hurricane or a tropical storm, I think is when it hit us, Debbie, hit our area in early August, so August 5th. That did not bring a lot of wind. Some hurricanes are wind focused, some are flooding focused. This was a flood event, and it did hit some areas of Parrish, some areas of Sarasota, some of our coastal areas. So things were delayed. Either things needed to be re-inspected. There was a time that the insurance companies, what they call, they're not binding insurance, they're not writing new policies if there's a tropical storm or hurricane in a certain geographic area. So that happened. So that could delay things. Or the insurance company may ask for a new wind mitigation or a new inspection of some sort. So it might be delayed until the next month, or it may be delayed until repairs can be made, and the inspectors and the repair people are all very overwhelmed right now. We wanted to add that Hurricane Helene hit our area September 26th, which is really unusual for Sarasota Manatee to get direct storm activity this month, I mean, at all, and then to have a few altogether. So Helene hit September 26th. Susan and I had one sale up here in Parrish that the house is fine, but because of the binding restriction where the insurance company says, I'm not writing an insurance plan while there's still an active hurricane around, we were closing the last Friday of the month. So we actually got insurance bound at like 2 p.m. that day. Thankfully, we had really great buyers and really great sellers that worked together, made a lot of things happen. We had to reinspect the property. So we had a lot of things going on. And that was a crazy, crazy week for me. But that one almost didn't close in September because of that binding restriction. The house is great. The pool is great. A lot of things are fine with that property.
Right.
I had another listing that had some minor roof damage, but the homeowner would like to get that repaired before they make it active again. Nothing devastating, but they want it to be nice. So that, I'm sure, happened to other sellers and buyers.
Right.
We think Helene impacted these
Yeah.
numbers much.
We do. We think that there's two events here that impacted the number of closings, because we did see a number of closings delayed. The numbers went down. So in Sarasota, where we had 513 sales closed. That was a 19.6% decrease. Now, that was from last year.
Right.
So the difference between September and the August was almost as dramatic. It was an 18.9% decrease from August. So we've seen the same numbers from year to year and from month to month, just about. We saw a median sales price rise by 3.2% to $490 compared to August. But as you see on this chart, only a slight, not even a 1% decrease. So we're really looking at a steady market number for Sarasota single family homes. With the days on market, it definitely has increased from last year by 77.8% to 48 days. From the time it goes on the market to the time it goes under contract. We also see an increase in the inventory, as mentioned. For the condo market in Sarasota, we're seeing a dramatic decrease in the number of condos closed of 21%, a slight decrease in the price of 4%. Now, for the condo market in Sarasota, that was an increase in cash sales that accounted for 59% of those transactions. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So decrease in the price only brought it down to $380, with an increase in the number of days on market to 57 days and an increase in the supply of 5.4 months. So that's following Manatee's trend of getting to that. That's a fairly balanced market there with condos for buyers and sellers. And what we've seen in terms of what the sellers are getting, they're getting 93.5% of their original list price. And that's a little bit of a decline, almost 2% from September of 2023. Let's compare that to the Manatee market.
The Manatee market. For the single family homes, we had 532 closed sales, which was down 14% from 2023 for the same month. And the median price was $470,000. This is the lowest median price that we've had this year in 2024. Mm-hmm. Unlike Sarasota, cash sales accounted for only 26.5% of closed sales. So one suggestion is it might be a little less investor activity. Also, some of the condos were affected by Hurricane Helene, so that might have been an inspection issue too. Inventory rose significantly, almost 2,500 listings, 39.8% increase from the previous September. And our month's supply is now at 3.9% for single family homes. And the time to contract is 1 day less than 1 day off from Sarasota at 47 days. And that is a 62.1% increase in time to contract. I can tell you from being out with buyers, the buyers don't have that panic sense of urgency, and they're just taking their time looking around. They're looking at more options. They're focusing more on move-in ready. Is it really there? Asking for more repairs. So a lot of that is taking things back and forth to contract. For condos, closed sales were 164, which is down a little over 25% from the previous year. Median price on those condos is also down at $319,990. It's minus 8.5% or so from the previous year. Time to contract for condos is significantly up at 73 days. And month supply is an even 6 months. So the condo market is quite balanced, as we shall say. That's up 80% year over year. I would like to also add that, people know we work with a lot of new home builders. I'm seeing more new home builders listing their properties in MLS that didn't do it the last couple of years. They
Oh,
were putting back inventory, and now I'm seeing a little bit more inventory in MLS. That's just, I haven't looked at data on that, but it just to me feels like we're seeing more of them in the system.
now that you mentioned that, Judy, when I think about a couple of the builders, some of the builders are only doing inventory.
Right, right, yep.
When they're opening up these new communities, it's only inventory. And unless you want to choose a lot that's down the road,
These 2 and 3, yeah,
then this is what's available, or you can choose that and wait.
correct.
So,
I'm seeing that.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think they're doing a little more inventory homes, and a few of them are putting those in the system a little earlier than they did the last couple of years. That's
Yeah.
just my observation, not backed up with any specific data yet.
Hmm.
But it just seems like when I'm going out with people, we can find them online. We have more, stuff going on.
Right.
But there's one particular community up here in Parrish that's still moving pretty well. So they're not all sitting there. It's a good solid builder, great convenient spot.
Who is that?
In Summerwoods, MI Homes,
Okay.
they're still quite active. I personally had one go under contract there this week. And yeah, a couple of them we were looking at, my customers were looking at, and they're like, nope, that one's under contract, this one's under contract. And they said their particular neighborhood's still doing very well for their company. So yeah, so they're doing good.
So in general, while we're looking at a temporary slowdown in September, we expect to see that slowdown continue with the October sales because we've had 2 additional hurricanes. We have we do have to look at the long-term outlook, and it remains optimistic. The community is recovering and rebuilding, and I have to say, we've got some real troubled areas. It's, obviously the barrier islands that are a real challenge. My heart goes out to all of those people on the islands. When I came off the airplane from North Carolina this week, I was a little surprised at the difference. And granted, I was in lush green North Carolina this time of year. The leaves are starting to change a little bit, but it looks like winter's been here.
Yeah, yeah.
So we get a little taste of what our northern neighbors experience every year. So we'll get over it.
Yep, we got some trees that are missing some leaves. That's
It'll grow.
My community. Most of what we lost were some tree branches and some leaves.
Right.
That's most of our debris piles. Unlike, unfortunately, in some coastal areas. But yeah, most of it was some screen cages got damaged and getting rebuilt. I will say that the roofers and the screen guys and the handymen, they're all trying to take care of everybody as soon as possible. A lot of community pulling together. A lot of community cleanups. That's what's happening up in Parrish. Volunteers from different neighborhoods. A few of them got together and tried to get the debris up just to try to make their communities good again. So that's kind of a very Parrish thing to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
it does definitely bring people together when there's an impending event. On my street, we had a group text of 24 people so that we would all know who was leaving, who's going where. And if we were out in Sky Ranch, which is east of Sarasota, so we were notified with watching that thread as to what was happening on our street. So, and the people are still using that group chat to discuss different things, repair people, trash pickup, and so forth. So
the debris trucks are working hard too. When we talk debris, we're talking around here, tree limbs. My community, so I'm an area that doesn't evacuate generally. Some people still do. We had a Siesta Key refugee, part of the family. So that was good for a few days, waiting for power to get back on. My street, we had a communal breakfast next door. Somebody brought their generator over, hooked up 2 coffee makers. They had a griddle going. They had a grill going. We had breakfast sandwiches for anybody that came by. And then we had 2 group dinners, like, first dinner that was planned. The second dinner, at the first dinner, we all said, well, I've got this, I've got this. Everybody had generators, so nothing was ruined. And we pitched in and had like a big family cookout for a couple of nights all together. So my street's pretty friendly anyway, but it was great. And people that might normally not join in joined us, and we got to know them a little better. So that was, yeah. So that was the good part. There's some good parts of all this tragedy and fear and but up here we're doing great. So
good. All right, we'll be back next month with the October report and see how similar it looks. And don't forget to subscribe so that you catch all the videos that Judy and I are putting out there to educate you about the area and about the new home communities. We've got a great YouTube channel, Living in Sarasota and Manatee Counties. Check it out.
Leave us comments.
And like. See you later, Judy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.